Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuffs here. New brewery time to a certain extent. This would be Eagle Park Brewing. I have had their beers before, but they've all come in mystery beers. This one is non-mystery because courtesy the same person who sent me those mystery beers. That'd be my boy Cameron from Wisconsin. This is their set list Hazie India Pale Ale. Full disclosure, we're talking about 3 months and change on this sucker. Not 3 months and change. 2 months and change. So it should be pretty good, but I always like to show those dates off. As far as this beer goes, what does it say? It says, brewed to get through your set in one piece, Set List IPA is liquid proof that big flavor and aroma can come in an easy drinking package. With 3 separate hop varietals and 3 malts, this beer has a hop-forward flavor profile of citrus, tropical fruit, and hints of pine. 6.5%, so they're talking about a low ABV beer. I don't really call that low ABV. Haze, 6.5% to me is an IPA. There's nothing to get all your hopes up about it being something you can rip the crap out of. Session beers, -5. I'll do 5.5 for hazy IPAs, but I'm curious because I love my low ABV hazies. We'll see what's what. Just did a mystery beer, forgot to hit record, which is a bummer. Such is life. We'll see what's what. Now, as far as this brewery goes, I really do forget how much I've loved, or anywhere in between, or lower than that, I should say, from the brewery, because it has been mystery beers. Very hard to recollect those. But I'll say this. Dig that label. Something about it. It's like a new school Charlie Brown or something. I don't know what's going on there. Kind of kooky. No, what is this art? This art is mimicking... Who is this artist? I know this artist. I don't know who that is. It's irritating the crap out of me. Looks like the character's in a prairie can or bottle, too. Anyway, but I dig it. So there we go. Beer-wise, I mean, it looks hazy. It looks a little kind of like turned milky turbid. Not to be negative Nancy here, but yeah, it has a haze to it, but there's a density in a kind of like just slightly off orange or muted orange on it. Kind of precursor to maybe might not jump out of the glass. We'll see what's what. Index finger. Soapy, creamy head. The nose. Yeah, it does smell a little bit oxidized. It does smell a little bit oxidized, a little bit dampened compared to what it could be. There's citrus in there. There's soft pineapple. But everything here is kind of cut off or limited by that oxidation. A little bit kind of almost like airing into like a non-alcoholic kind of flattiness. Not overly negative in any sense, but it almost smells like there could have been much, much more there in the beer than there is now. IPA all the way, though. Let's dive in. Cheers, y'all. Yeah, I mean, it really kind of drinks that way. The oxidation isn't as present on the taste that it is in the nose. Oddly enough, you still get these citrus vibes. You still get those pineapple vibes, stone fruity vibes. Almost like a white grapiness to it, too. But there is a limiter to it. There is a tempering of what the flavor could be. So it almost like you can tell, like I talk about these ghosts of hops past in older beers. This is almost like that in a very, very quick portion of time. So, you're talking about 2 months and change on this beer. How much oxygen was in here, how tight are their tolerances when it comes to that negative oxygen in beer. This is where these beers tend to suffer, these hazy IPAs, if they're not treated ultra precise with how they're prepared. They can fall off a little bit, especially if they're relatively low ABV, and they have a little bit of time on it, a little bit of travel time too. Maybe it wasn't completely cold the whole time. Mouthfeel is quite nice. Typically, that's one of the quickest drop-offs when it comes to an oxidation and beer, whether it be stout and or IPA. But it still has a nice mouthfeel to it, nice bittering to it, bit of pithiness, nothing overly resinous, so it pairs well with that fruitiness. It almost drinks for me like somewhere between like a super low ABV hazy and a non-alcoholic hazy. It has that little bit of undercooked kind of oatiness, that little bit of raw cooked weediness, in combination with kind of like a regular low ABV IPA. I can taste the goodness in this beer. If that makes any sense. I could taste that it probably was much, much better either on draft, fresh, or, taken care of better. And that's not a knock on Cameron or whatever, but, where that's it before he purchased it. The travel time it spent coming here, those kind of things can sometimes put the kibosh on smallerish beers, more fragile beers like this, and that's where I think this one lands. So I really do still enjoy it. I'm going to drink this whole can. It's not a bad beer by any stretch of the imagination. It's more I'm kind of bummed because I think it tasted much, much better a couple weeks ago, a month ago, than it is right now. But still a fun, tasty beer. Something that, like, if I were to walk in to New Park, or Eagle Park, sorry, and I saw this on draft, it'd probably be one of the first beers I get. Low ABV, fresh, want to kind of see what it's what, without that little bit of time. So yeah, is it one of the better lowerish ABV IPAs that I've had as of late? I'll still get into the conversation, not towards the top. He usually throws the value on this. I don't believe he did, so let us know down below how much you paid for this. Eagle Park, what are your experiences? Have you been to the brewery? Have you had this beer? Have you had this particular batch? The 1922 batch? Let's have that conversation down there. So there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of Eagle Park right now. We'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.